What's up, dumbasses? My name is KotyTang. With the unshocking disappointment of the 2.0 update, Nintendo decided to release their first and final DLC for New Horizons. Now, you could either pay for it, or you could also upgrade your Nintendo Online service to get it for free. Considering that most people are probably about to sell their copies of New Horizons, it's really hard to present this DLC as worth the buy since the base game is so underwhelmingly bland. Happy Home Paradise hopes to remedy your worries about Animal Crossing having nothing to do by giving you an endless amount of customization that you can constantly replay and redo at any point. And that sums up the entirety of Happy Home Paradise. Every character in the game, save the unique characters, which might as well be considered DLC for the DLC, since you have to buy amiibo cards just to interact with them. You know, regardless of them literally living or simply frequenting yours and Harv's island. Happy Home Paradise is the highest extent that the game allows the average player to freely mess with customization. Instead of creating entire fake buildings that only look good from one specific angle or lighting, those of which, well, let's face it, they're always made from random objects that completely tanks the pathetically outdated hardware of the Switch. Put simply, Happy Home Paradise aims to be the endgame that you have to pay for, going as far as to unlock the ability to purchase nearly any furniture item you have or have not purchased in the past, completely annihilating the need for the Nook's Cranny. Pokey is the currency that Happy Home Paradise uses, and it's also what you'll get paid for when you do anything from remodeling an entire home to moving a lamp slightly to the left. Pretty much any action you do while in uniform will net this currency. This DLC would especially assist people who are fans of restarting their islands. In fact, Happy Home Paradise serves as the fastest way to collect essentially all of the furniture in-game. Every time you complete a request for a villager, you unlock at least one new item to use and purchase for your own personal use. When creating a villager's home, Happy Home Paradise provides themes and simple guidelines to follow. Or you can enact your own guidelines and completely overwrite what the villager wants, because it's not like they actually have any preferences anyway. In fact, regardless of whether or not you even complete the home, as long as you have the items they requested, you won't have to put down any additional furniture. Everything else is purely cosmetic and doesn't enhance the reward you get, nor the villager's perception of how well you did. Even goofier, if you say you want to go off on your own design and put literally nothing in the house, the character will still talk about how outstanding of a job you've done. So if you're just in it to speed through the DLC, then you could absolutely do that. Of course, you can go back and edit all these homes at any point, but see, the lack of a proper quality system leaves the DLC pretty soulless. When you can give somebody the largest house in the DLC, which is just a 2-story home, and then just drop a soccer ball on the floor, say you're done, and then watch as the villager praises your incredible decorating skills, it creates this overwhelming feeling of pointlessness. Sure, there's millions of combinations to use, and I genuinely enjoy editing out the entirety of the themes they recommend, but there's no denying that realistically, I'm just wasting my time and won't get any sort of reward for going all out. Let's face it, it is still New Horizons after all, so the villagers are complacent with just being objects themselves. They don't care who you put as their roommates. None of these characters have history with each other, even if it's confirmed in the lore that they do. Just like with you, they pretend they've never met before in their whole lives. Being able to do whatever you want does serve as a good way to speed through the game and get as many items as you can, just to go back and edit the homes later on when you have everything. But if you don't care about decoration, then this DLC isn't going to intrigue you in any way, because that's entirely what the focus is. Just like in Happy Home Designer before, they let you create facilities as well. A hospital, a restaurant, a clothing store, a cafe, and a school. They work about as well as you could imagine something working in New Horizons, and that's great, but I'd rather have these on my actual island instead of some random area in the sea. If you're more of an island aesthetic person, you can now edit your villagers' houses. This is by far the easiest way to fake a ton of different buildings on your islands. It's at the cost of a villager's house, but it's not like they're doing anything anyway. It definitely adds an extra layer to your island that would otherwise not be there. However, there are a few missing things from Happy Home Paradise that were present in Happy Home Designer from when they were in New Leaf. You were also able to create a hotel, a music hall, different shops, and a business office. So of course we're not entirely free from New Horizons' infamous lazy content habits. There's a list of different customizations added into the game, such as soundscapes, polishing, pillars, walls, and a ton of different items. This update and the DLC preceding it is the biggest content dump that Animal Crossing has ever seen. Happy Home Paradise isn't bad at all. Sure, the villagers are complacent with anything you do, but I'd still say that Happy Home Paradise is one of the most put together elements of New Horizons. And fittingly so, considering it is the final thing that we will ever get for the game. The thing with Happy Home Paradise is the fact that customization is just not as large of a factor for many Animal Crossing fans. When it comes to the various content creators, it's an absolute dream with how much you can show off to all of your followers, and that seems pretty fitting for what New Horizons truly is about. The way I see it, New Horizons is not about an engaging single-player experience that you can occasionally play with your friends. New Horizons is really a game about stroking your ego. It encourages you to show off just how good you are at creating elaborate designs so that you can show the world and get praised for it. New Horizons finally seem to be taking strides in the right direction. That 2.0 trailer was such a sigh of relief for New Horizons. It truly looked like the game was about to be changing in a big way, and Nintendo was going to actually be paying attention. It was a great update. It was a fantastic update. It's what so many fans had been wanting. But since these were the final things that will be added into New Horizons, there is absolutely no way I can recommend this game to anybody, let alone tell people it's worth $60. If I were you or anybody watching this video, I would stop considering to ever purchase Animal Crossing New Horizons. Do not support this game. Do not give this game your money. Buy New Leaf instead if you really want to play an Animal Crossing game, or play any other life simulator game such as Story of Seasons or Stardew Valley. Those games are loaded with love and care put into every moment of their game. Care that New Horizons will simply never get. For the casual player, New Horizons provides nothing in value as not only a game, but as a simulator in general. You're not simulating an island life, and you don't even have to use your resources to create a village to your liking. New Horizons utterly fails as an Animal Crossing game and barely passes as a solid game at all. From how much they've completely shit on the fans and then end it all with a bombshell of no more updates, it's clear that Nintendo just does not care about this series anymore. No matter how many sales this game gets, New Horizons will never live up to the hype of old Animal Crossing games, and that's such a disappointing fact. I love Animal Crossing as a series, and I've been playing their games since I was a child. It's so upsetting to see a game I grew up with lose everything that made it so good in the first place. There are so many things that New Horizons left out that will just simply never be in the game again. This is it for the game. Everything that you can currently play is the final product. Nintendo chose to make this a game as a service. In theory, it was such a good idea. Over time, you would get constant updates, more content, every month something new, right? But it ended up being the worst decision they could have ever made. It makes me worry to ever accept the games as a service model ever again. It gives developers the freedom to half-ass their projects and then loosely promise that it will at some year be returned to its former glory, or it'll just sink into obscurity. Animal Crossing is lucky that it's such a widely known and well-established franchise. Without Nintendo backing it, this game would have barely made it past the first month. How disappointing that a multi-million-dollar company can look at this absolute gold mine of a game and would rather force us to buy amiibos and then just accept the piss poor excuse for a game as it is. There are so many things that will just never be in the game. Nook's Cranny upgrade, better tools, Nintendo themed items like things from Metroid, Zelda, or Donkey Kong, Tornmer Island, the post office, interactive items, damn near anything and everything from Pocket Camp. Moving resident services, changing town colors, removal of villagers you don't like, new mouths, eyes, noses, the observatory, minigames, and so many more things that are just gone forever from the game. This is one of the biggest blunders of a major franchise, and hopefully it deters many from accepting the games as a service model in the future. What an absolute failure of a game this turned out to be. But with 33 million copies, we've all spoken with our wallets, and Nintendo will absolutely repeat themselves when the next Animal Crossing game releases.